Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you everyone for being here and those watching on TV. Mayor's report, I really don't have nothing to report, but I would like to read the official statement from the city of Herman. On Sunday evening, March 12, 2023, the Herman, Missouri community suffered a devastating tragedy when Herman Police Department Detective Sergeant Mason Griffin and Police Officer Alan Sullentrop were shot in the line of duty. Detective Sergeant Mason Griffin, 34, succumbed to his injuries following the shooting. Griffin has been with the Herman Police Department since September 2017, was dedicated and proudly served as a public servant. In addition to his service with Herman Police Department, he served as Chief of Police for the Rosebud Police Department. He also worked for the Gasconade County Sheriff's Department and previously the Gerald Police Department. He was a resident of Rosebud in Gasconade County, a 2007 graduate of Sullivan High School. Visitation for Herman Sergeant Detective Mason Griffin will be held Sunday, March 19th, 9 a.m. to 2, with funeral services at 2 p.m. at the Owensville High School. Burial will be Emmanuel Lutheran Cemetery in Rosebud. Herman Police Officer Adam Sullentrop, 31, has sustained injuries and is in the hospital. He's under the best of care. We continue to pray for his full recovery. Sullentrop has been with the Herman Police Department since December. Prior to coming to Herman, he was an officer with New Haven, Missouri Police Department, where he served for 5 years. He has become an integral member of our Herman Police Department and the Herman community. A memorial and recovery fund has been set up with checks can be made payable to Griffin Sullentrop Memorial and Recovery Fund. You can mail those to People's Bank, Post Office Box 528, Herman, Missouri, or drop off any of the 11 People's Saving Bank locations, or you can donate online. Please keep these brave men and their families, friends, and colleagues in your thoughts and prayers. There will be a community vigil Friday at 7 p.m. at the Herman High School. So, a great loss. Did you want to make a comment also at this point or later on?
Sure. I don't have a traditional report. We've got other important things to be working on this week. But I do want to express that on behalf of myself and all of the staff that we share those sentiments, and that Mason was an incredibly great loss, both personally and professionally. He was a friend to everyone, and he carried a great deal of responsibility in his roles here at the City of Herman. But what I've been encouraging the staff with this week, what we've been saying is that tragedy is not going to be our story. Tragedy to triumph is going to be our story, and that's what Mason would want. Mason would want it that way. Mason would want his sacrifice to inspire people. He would want it to multiply the acts of kindness that he was known for, and most importantly, he would want his sacrifice to draw people closer to God. And I believe that that is going to be our story. We continue to support and pray for his family, what they're going through. We continue to encourage everyone to keep Adam Sullentrop and his family in your prayers. Rally behind that family and give them all the support we can until he is fully recovered. And especially also, I would say, to support our local our police officers, our local law enforcement, our dispatchers. They were all especially close to him, and they have, our people and all the local law enforcement have been absolutely outstanding during all of this, and we are overwhelmed by the amount of support from not just this community, but literally support community from across the nation. It's been absolutely amazing. So yes, Mason will be dearly missed, and we are going to honor him and celebrate him well this week.
Thank you. I have nothing else on the mayor's report. So you want to do a administrative report on anything
I
else?
do not have anything else, no.
Okay. If not, There's no public comments. We will move to ordinances.
Oh.
Thank you.
So, bill number 2023-08 for second reading. An ordinance to amend Herman Municipal Code Section 705.120, Public Water System, Annual Fees for Customer Service Connection.
This is second reading. Do I have a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve it, but I'd also like to say that this is something that the state decides. It's not a city decision. So I move to approve bill number 2023-08, second read.
Motion made. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried.
Next is bill number 2023-09 for first reading. An ordinance to amend the definition for commercial power rate 2 in Herman Municipal Code Section 720.010.
Any discussion? Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion, bill number 2023-09 approved.
Motion is made. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Includes ordinances. We'll move to old business. Under old business, to discuss the Port Authority and the letter of intent. Everyone has a copy of the letter of intent. Is there any discussion, any questions?
So this is just what?
Just the letter of intent. This is no commitment
This
other
is
than
saying
that, correct?
that they can move ahead and then they've got to send us things back.
Well, it's, I think the most useful thing about coming up with this is kind of like drafting contracts, is identifying issues or identifying what we're concerned about and addressing it in here. And just kind of making it known that these are the things that we're going to be concerned about. When we bring them up, when it's time to do our resolution or when it's time to work on bylaws or when it's time to whatever, you know, we're kind of putting folks on notice this is what we really intend going into this and how we intend to deal with it, so.
Do you anticipate there being like a negotiations on this, or?
I don't know. We can talk more to the county commissioners. I know Mr. Etchler, was that his name? Etcher. You know, he was here and he's been sort of the face of the proposal and of the project here and like at the chamber and the HRED and other places. But the other parties to this, the people that we're going to be working with when Mr. Etcher moves on, are the Montgomery County Commissioners. And so I think maybe we can open lines of communication with them and make sure that we're on the same page with them, you know, with all this stuff. And maybe some negotiation. And then we can go on from there.
But I did, after our last meeting, I did call Steve Etcher and told him what we were kind of thinking, and I picked out a few of the highlights that are in that letter, and he didn't act like that those issues were going to be issues. But I mean, I know he has to take that to the board, but.
Right.
So
He wasn't shocked or like, oh my gosh, there's no way. Yeah.
can you explain 4G to me? And the reasoning behind that?
Well, he touched on it when he gave his presentation, that there will be some expenses that the Port Authority will incur. And he didn't really elaborate on those other than, I guess the city would be asked to pay a portion of those being in the Port Authority. And he said that there would be annual maintenance type expenses, maybe to provide compensation for some cost of service for whoever's going to be administering this thing, and maybe paying his firm to come to 3 or 4 meetings a year and just keep this thing up. But then anytime there's going to be I'm pretty confident anytime there's gonna be a project within the Port Authority, there's gonna be significant expenses. There's gonna be the fees of him and his firm or a firm like his, and there's gonna be legal fees. Kind of like when we've issued bonds here and had McLinney and Company or years ago Gilmore Bell Law Firm would help us with those, and you know they can be significant. So I just put that in there just to cover things like that, so we don't get surprised, and let them know that we're at least aware of the potential for that.
Any other questions? If not, do I have a motion to approve the letter of intent?
I'll make the motion to approve and sending of the letter of intent for the Port Authority for the city of Herman.
Motion has been made. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Any other old business? Any new business?
I have some new business. My new business is about an old issue. A lot of people have been upset with their utility bills, and I'm wondering, I sent an email to Trish and Jesse and to the mayor, I haven't got to send it to you all yet, that I think we should have a Utilities 101 type of meeting before our regular board meeting in April, the last one in April, and explain how the bills work and how they're broke down so that the citizens can hear and understand why things are and why they happen the way they do, like the water going up because the state mandates it. I think it would be a good idea for everybody to have that knowledge.
I do too. There was a lot of misinformation going around. I did talk to Jesse about it, and he asked for more time though to prepare properly. We're right in the middle of budget and everything, so we may need more time than
Maybe
April,
May.
but we both think it's a good idea.
Okay. Any other new business? If not, we will move on to motions. We have a motion to approve the last minutes from our last meeting.
I move to approve the minutes from the February 22nd, 2023 meeting.
Motion's been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Well, we need to pay the bills, but Ash ain't here. What are we going to do?
I will support my fellow Ward 2 alderman. I make a motion to pay the bills.
Motion has been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Bills will be paid. Approve $432,034.50 bid from NB West Contracting for the 4th and 7th Street reconstruction project.
So this was in the budget. These were our spring, summer projects. I think we're probably going to wait to start them since it involves 7th Street until after school is out. Came in just like $2,000 over budget, but I would ask you to approve this.
Any other questions? If not, do I have a motion to approve that expense?
I move to approve the budget expense for the streets for 4th and 7th.
Motion made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Approve a $7,050 bid from J&T Trailers for a snowplow truck bed.
This is the bed to go with the truck that we approved at the last meeting.
How come the truck didn't have a bed? Anyway, okay. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Motion is made. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Liquor license for Seek Coffee, 219 East First Street, indoor only.
I would mention that shortly they will be coming back to you all with a request for a conditional use permit for outdoor liquor consumption for a patio on the back of their building facing 4th Street. But tonight it's just for indoors.
Okay. I have a motion to approve.
I'll approve. Yes, thank you. I'll approve.
Motion's been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. appoint Rebecca Burke to the Tourism Committee.
I move to approve Rebecca.
Motion's been made, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion's made, and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Conditional use, put my glasses on all that. Conditional use permit renewals for the following owner unoccupied guest houses. Don and Greg Lippert Hillman House at 112 West First Street. Bart and Chris Pottman, Parkview Guest House at 1221 Washington Street. Steve Mulder, DeFlorian Stone Cottage at 214 West 4th Street. Arminius Holdings LLC, DeFlorian Brick Cottage at 218 West 4th Street. Arminius Holdings LLC, DeFlorian Bicentennial Inn at 223 West 4th Street.
I have a question. Do all of these have managers listed?
Yeah, so you'll see the checklist here on the second page. Corey contacted them all and made sure we have their current manager's name and contact information specifically. You'll also see that the checklist, everybody's met every box. All taxes and inspections and certificates have been received. And you'll see the memo from Chief Walker stating that there have not been any calls or complaints on these businesses.
Okay. Have a motion to review.
Motion to approve all four listed.
Motion been made, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made, and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Conditional use permit renewals for outdoor liquor consumption for Fernway Distilling Company, Andrew Reese, number 4 Shore Street, Windmill Restaurant for Jim Dearberg at 315 East First Street.
I move to approve both of these permits.
Motion's been made, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Amend special event application amendment number 2 for Janet Thompson, Fall Market, requesting open containers in the approved street closure on East 5th Street.
Now they are here. I can maybe start the ball rolling. So last meeting, we approved their application, including parking spaces on Gutenberg for what we thought were going to be alcohol vendors, and we talked about how they would need to fence it in and only have ingress, egress, the opening to the amphitheater. Tonight they are here asking for a bit of a change. They would like to have open containers allowed in the approved 5th Street area. We approved the closure of the 5th Street area street there that's circled at the last meeting. But we did not have the no alcohol, the open container ordinance request. So I think what they're considering tonight is if that is approved, if they get open containers allowed on 5th Street, then they would withdraw the need for the parking spaces on Gutenberg. Is that correct? Okay. You may add anything you'd like.
That's correct. Any questions?
I do. It's L-shaped, I guess you would say. So that back area is like the parking behind the amphitheater. You're gonna-
From our understanding, that was with, right, isn't that how it was explained?
Yeah, like the parking when you pull up on the back side of the amphitheater, we're just gonna go straight over into the grass and we're fencing that off. We talked to the J.C.'s to see if we could borrow some of their fencing. And that's where we want like the bounce houses in the grass area with the petting zoo in that area. And then the food trucks would obviously be in there as well.
Like on the gravel part up here behind the amphitheater itself? That's the part I'm talking about. Like if you're looking at the drawing, it's the part that sticks out that goes past the amphitheater.
No, I think we're just like
No.
straight with the,
Our fence line will run straight with the amphitheater.
yes, I think we just circled that because we were told we could have access if we needed to like pull in there or get in
People
that
needed
way.
to unload
Yeah.
that way, they could.
So we're just moving the liquor from 5th Street to Gutenberg.
From Gutenberg, 5th Street.
Yeah.
And then this won't be, this will just be on Saturday, it's not Friday night.
Correct.
Yeah.
And the setup will be on Friday or Saturday?
Yes.
And the fencing, where is the entrance going to be to get in and out? Is it going to be like from the amphitheater to get out to it?
Yes.
So there won't be any entrance on the
And
outside?
From the extra fences, right, they won't be able to leave with anything.
And they won't be able to get in?
So again, just to clarify, you're only requesting the street closure in the open container ordinance for Saturday.
And their entrance in and out of that part would be through the gate there on Fifth Street?
Correct.
And what are the hours?
The setup starts, I think, at 7, and the entrance is 4, so then 7,
Well, that's when they're setting up,
Right.
yeah.
probably clean up to like 4:35, so.
So 7 to 5 that Saturday?
Yeah.
Daytime event is what you're saying.
Yes.
Any other questions? If no other questions, do I have a motion to approve the amendment?
Move to approve.
Motion's been made, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion's made, second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Ayes have it. You're approved. Before we close the meeting, Tammy, did you want to say anything about Friday night or not? I mean, just that we're going to have the video at 7 o'clock at the high school enough
Yeah.
for,
Chief Walker has requested that we have a community vigil Friday evening, and please look to the City of Herman Facebook page for information, and we will have updates on there tomorrow and probably Friday as well.
thank you.
Can I give a shout out to Tammy and Rob and all the city staff that's been pitching in? We could not have pulled any of this off without them because we want to honor our officers well, and everything has dropped, and this has been Tammy's sole focus, so thank you.
They have been putting tremendous hours ever since this incident has happened around the clock. Like I say, we need to pray for those families, but keep in mind the officers that still work and the dispatchers. Being a dispatcher, nobody really has an idea of what dispatchers go through. It's pretty traumatic for them also. They're on the radio and handling things, and those people in there work around the clock also. I mean, all I can say is I don't think the citizens of Herman realize how important these people are and how dedicated they are to serve the people of Herman. It doesn't come out very often. It takes special people to do some of these things. Burnout is not unusual for a dispatcher. You have this type of incident, and especially when you know the individuals that are involved with that incident, that you take it home with you, and you have to get through it. But keep them in your thoughts and prayers also.
Yeah, we don't brag on them very often, so I will just continue that. I spent some time with them that evening. They were all together into the wee hours of the morning, hanging around, supporting each other, wanting to see how the conclusion, how things were happening. So they are stellar, and they went above and beyond.
I think we also need to, I work at the hospital, but remember all the people at the hospital.
Yes.
It affected them also, and our EMS.
That's right.
It was very hard for them also.
There you go.
And we're lucky we have each other here in this town.
Yeah. So count your blessings that you live here. Count your blessings for the people that try and take care of you the best that we can. And God bless everybody. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn the meeting.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you everyone for watching and coming.
I gotta turn the camera off today.
So leave it at- What's your book? What's your pen?
I do want my pen.
I'm gonna say.
All right. You took the little rubber thing off and everything.
It's good to go.
That's the city provided.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, knock that off.
So,
I'll give it credit.